A man spent a fortune to buy a dead body. He pretended it was his father and brought it to a private hospital for emergency treatment. He kept begging the doctors to save his father no matter the cost. He said he would pay anything. The doctors never asked about the patient's condition. They didn't even check the body carefully. They just wheeled it straight into the operating room. Only once inside did they realize the man was already dead, but they still insisted on performing surgery on a corpse because they knew exactly what every family member wants. They said that man outside looked incredibly filial, which meant he'd give up everything to save his father, and that made him the perfect target. So the doctors began pretending to be busy, rushing around like they were trying to save a life. They kept going in and out of the operating room. Then the lead surgeon handed Ball a list. He told him his father's condition was critical and that he needed to go buy some medicine right away. But the drugs could only be purchased from the pharmacy next to the hospital because many special meds were only available at doctor-approved stores. Ball looked at the list, but he had no idea what any of the medicines were for. Still, he followed the instructions and bought 2 big bags of drugs. They cost him half a year's salary. He handed the bags to the nurse, then kept asking what the medicine was actually for, but the nurse stayed cold and distant. She told him his father's case was very complicated. Even if she explained it, he wouldn't understand. A while later, the nurse returned all the drugs to the pharmacy and even scolded the pharmacist. She said he should have sold Ball the more expensive ones. Just as Ball spent all that money on the medicine, another doctor came out and said more surgery fees were needed. Ball explained he had already paid when he first arrived, but the doctor said the situation was too critical. They had to bring in a top specialist, and specialists cost extra. So Ball paid again. Then a very serious-looking expert walked into the operating room. The family waited anxiously outside, but inside the room it was peaceful and quiet. All the doctors and nurses were chatting casually. Every half hour someone would walk out with a grim face. Each doctor acted like a seasoned performer, taking turns getting more money from Ball, until he had spent every last penny he had. Only then did the doctors finally come out with heavy expressions.
I am sorry. पेशेंट इज नो मोर। काश आप लोगों ने मुझे पहले बुला लिया होता।
डॉक्टर साहब एक बार कोशिश करिए प्लीज।
अरे समझने की कोशिश करो, he is dead.
Ball begged them to try again, but the doctors said nothing could bring a dead man back to life. At that moment, Ball suddenly calmed down. He looked at them and said, "Aren't you guys supposed to be experts at treating the dead?" Then he pulled out a death certificate and revealed the body wasn't his father at all. It was someone he bought from the crematorium, a body that had been dead for days. So what exactly had the doctors been doing in that operating room all this time? Bolas, if I kept giving you money, would my father have kept having hope of survival?